I just want to start off by saying you couldn't pay me to do this shit. Hello, my name is Keishay, aka Shay, aka Shake and Bake, and welcome back to my channel. Before I get into the video, I want to shout out the commenter who guessed the movie that I would be doing today. That was kind of crazy. They were actually trying to recommend it to me, but I had already had this one lined up, so shout out to you. Anyways, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and who knows, maybe you'll guess my next one. I'm kind of excited for this one, so without further ado, let's get into the video. The Descent 2005 is actually one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's one of the films that no matter how many times I watch it, I am still gagged by everything that happens throughout. It's claustrophobic, it's chaotic, it's messy, and depending on which cut you watch, it's pretty bleak. So spoiler-free synopsis incoming for those who want to check this movie out. Maybe you've been putting it off. It's been on your watch list. So go ahead and watch that and come back. The Descent 2005 is a horror film about a group of thrill seekers who get trapped in a cave during an expedition and must fight their way out after discovering they aren't there alone. I saw somebody say, and I think it was on Twitter, that The Descent is one of the craziest home invasion films ever made. And low-key, they ain't wrong. The fuck? So I implore you to go watch this movie if you haven't already, because it is so good. It's very, very good. And everybody was pissing me off except for my good sis Beth. And yeah, I stand by that. Even the movie poster is fire. The artwork, it has a bunch of bodies formed into a skull. The artwork references Invalupas Mors by Salvador Dali and Felipe Hausman. I hope that I pronounced that right, first of all. And it's just a cool modern take on this piece. I don't know if I can show the original one, but that is the artwork that is referenced here to make this movie poster. I wish we could get more movie posters like this. I'm tired of the floating heads, truly. That's how you knew this season of Euphoria was gonna be bad, because look at the fucking poster for it. Why the fuck does this look like the Dome poster? Like, please. But I'm already getting off track. I'm getting mad. So without further ado, let's get into this breakdown.
Love each day.
The movie begins with one half of our group whitewater rafting. And this is another thing that you would never catch me doing. I would not do this. First of all, I can't swim. I know that they have a life vest. I love a good life vest, but no, you wouldn't catch me doing this ever. The water is looking a little rough, but the women are having the time of their lives, while one of the women's husbands and one of their young daughters is cheering them on. When they're finished, Juno, who stands up in the boat, starts celebrating, and Beth pushes her in the water as a little jokey joke. As Beth and Sarah, the other two women who were in the raft, drag the raft back to shore, Paul, Sarah's husband, helps fish Juno out of the water, but they're looking a little too familiar, and Beth absolutely peeps this interaction. See, Beth is just like me, because I definitely would have had my eyebrows raised a little bit too, like, what the fuck y'all got going on over there? Sarah does not peep this. She's a little bit oblivious. Sarah offers to stay and help them pack up their gear, but Beth tells her and Juno will be fine. So Sarah leaves with Paul and their daughter Jessie. Or Jessica. Her name is Jessie. They call her Jessie, but her real name is Jessica. As they're driving, Sarah notices that Paul is being a little distant, and she asks him if he's okay. So that brief interaction with Juno definitely is looking a little more incriminating now, because he is being distant. So keep our eyes open with this nigga. He says that he's fine and nothing is wrong, all the while looking at Sarah instead of the fucking road, and Paul is a fucking idiot. And now he's dead. Like, he absolutely fucking brutal. We skip forward some time, don't know how long, and Sarah wakes up in the hospital and immediately rips out all of the cords and starts calling out for her daughter. She runs through the hospital as the lights go out behind her, and she runs into Beth's arms. It kind of looks like a dream sequence, but when she runs into Beth's arms, all of the lights snap back on, and Beth tells her the bad news that her daughter did not make it. Juno runs down the hallway and sees them, and she starts crying as well. As sad as all of this is, what a way to start a movie, man. They kind of ate that. It's such a great opening sequence. There are very few movies that really nailed the first 5 minutes, but this one is like an all-time great. After this, we jump to a year later in the Appalachian Mountains. Appalachian? I never really knew how to say it, so I'm gonna say Appalachians. The Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina, with Beth and Sarah on their way to meet Juno at her cabin. Beth looks over to Sarah and tells her that they don't have to do this. We don't know what exactly she's talking about. And she tells Sarah that they could just go to the city. You know, they're in North Carolina, so they can go to the city, go to a bar and get a few drinks, or they can go to a little barn dance. And Sarah is like, absolutely not. I'm a little too European for that. That would actually be worse than what the fuck Juno has in store. But then she kind of relents and says that Beth is right. They don't have to do it. But if they decide to chicken out, Beth will have to be the one to tell Juno that they don't want to go anymore. Beth kind of snaps and calls Juno a piece of work for always having them out in the sticks. And she's also mad at her about how quickly she left Scotland after Sarah's accident. So it's safe to say that Beth is not the biggest fan of Juno at the moment. They make it to the cabin and Juno is outside waiting for them. And y'all. Woo. Okay, for the people, let me calm down. I know we don't fuck with Juno. You know, Juno is trifling, and I agree. I absolutely do agree. However, that woman is fine as fuck. I'm so sorry to break it to you, but Juno is fine. Please don't beat my ass. I do not condone whatever is allegedly, because it's not confirmed yet, whatever is allegedly happening with her and Paul. If there is something happening, she's trifling. I've seen this movie. I know what happens. I do not condone if, you know, she had an affair with Paul's nasty, dirty, cheating ass, but Juno is bad as fuck. For the record, I have never cheated on anybody, but I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I would be going for Juno too. I'm just saying what we all thinking. I'm afraid I would have been Big Sister General Big Bird for Juno. No shade. Okay, let me chill. Okay. Juno greets Sarah and tells her not to worry about anything. We still don't know what they're doing yet, but she tells her not to worry about anything and everything is going to be fine before helping her with her bags. She tells her to go inside because Sam and Becca are waiting for her. Becca and Sam are the sisters of the group and they're in the cabin right now calling each other cheaters. While they're playing cards. That's messy. The screenwriters are messy. You gonna leave outside with Juno and the next line is cheater? That's messy. Sarah walks in and Becky and Sam tell her how great she looks. Sarah takes a moment to thank Sam for her letter and Sam apologizes for not being able to come and visit her after her accident because she was doing midterms. I just got done with finals. I don't want to hear finals, midterms. I'm trauma. Juno butts in saying that Sam will be a doctor within a year, which is great. Shout out to her. The conversation shifts again, and Sam makes fun of Beth because she's 25. I'll be 25 in November. I am a Scorpio. And I will not tolerate any Scorpio slander in my comments because it seems like every time I mention that I'm a Scorpio, people be like, ooh, for real? And I'm like, damn, what the fuck? I'm not even like a horoscope person, but people do have not the best things to say about Scorpios. So I don't know. The last member of our cave exploring crew, Holly, comes out and Becca introduces her as Juno's protege. Holly is probably the one who got on my nerves the most because the other women are thrill seekers, but this girl takes everything to the fucking extreme. Like Sarah is even like, oh, you're the crazy girl that like to jump off of buildings and bungee jump and shit. And Holly does joke back saying that Sarah would know what it's like to be a little crazy because Juno showed her a picture of her, Sarah, and Beth when they went rock climbing. Juno pulls out that picture for everybody to see and says a little sentiment that Paul used to say to her, which is,
love each day.
It gets a little awkward, so to break the tension, Sarah makes a toast.
Here's to our adventure.
Later that evening, Sam and Holly smoke outside. Sam asks Holly if she's ever done the Borum Caverns. That's the name of the caves that they'll be exploring. Holly says that she's only seen it in the book, but she wasn't too impressed with what she saw. She thinks it's more for tourists and not necessarily a real adventure. Again, she's a thrill seeker. She's crazy. She likes to do crazy shit. She's like, this little shit right here, child's play. Juno comes out and tells Holly that it'll be an adventure, all right, and plays with her little necklace. Keep that fucking necklace in mind. The girls drink by the fire, talking about men, and make fun of Beth because she wore a pajama set like an old lady. Y'all better leave auntie alone, okay? Mind you, Beth is a school teacher, so she lives a very tame life, okay? Sarah circles back to the conversation asking Holly if she's got a man. I'll tell you right now, Holly ain't checking for no man. I know what you are. Holly says she's a sports fuck like Juno. And maybe Rebecca too. I can't even lie. I had to look that up because I'm stupid. But she basically said they some hoes. And she a hoe too. So Shout out to her. They laugh, and Holly continues saying that she wants to get old and have lots of babies. Sarah obviously is triggered by that word, and we see that later on that night she's having a hard time sleeping. She gets out of bed after she hears a bird fly by the window, and she goes to look out the window. She hears her daughter laughing, and luckily it was just a dream. The next morning, Juno wakes up before everyone else, and she goes out on a run and comes back and wakes everyone up. She tells them that they're leaving at 7 a.m. So whatever fucking time she got up was too damn early. Anyway, y'all, look at her. Y'all see the material. That's all I'm saying. Sarah takes her medication, and they head outside for a photo op. That's how you know this is about to be some bullshit, because look how happy they are. That's the last happy moment they're gonna have. Sarah grabs the keys and drives to their entrance point like a fucking maniac, actually. And Sam is in the other car trying to set up the watch that her boyfriend gave her. Holly looked at that watch and said if a dude gave her that watch, she would break up with that nigga on the spot. But girl, you're breaking up with him because you don't like me. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Maybe she's like a Sporty Spice type, you know, like a tomboy, but girl, I'm not buying it. Holly's a lesbian. On this ride, though, we learned that none of the girls are familiar with the caves that they will be exploring. So what does Juno do with the guide that they need to navigate the caves? She puts it in the glove compartment of the truck. She doesn't bring it with her. Juno is a piece of shit. To know what's gonna happen throughout the rest of this movie, Juno is literally the fucking worst. She's fine, yes, like she looks fantastic. A shitty person, though. Very shitty person. And her being fine does not change that. This whole thing was her idea. Keep that in mind. Okay. They grab all of their gear and start hiking up to the cave entrance with Juno taking the lead. Becca starts schooling the girls on the rules of caving. Number 1, you file a flight plan and you stick to it, period. And number 2, you don't wander off. That just sounds reasonable. Then she starts listing off things that can happen while you're in the cave because the caves are dark. And when you're in the dark too long, you can start being paranoid. You can have panic attacks. The claustrophobia can get to you, but the girls are not trying to hear what she has to say. And they should have taken heed because she was on to something. And that's my thing. All of these fucking all of these worst case scenarios, why the fuck would somebody sign up to do this, y'all? I really don't get it. I'm nosy and I want to see stuff and I want to hear all of the tea in the mess, but I'm not nosy enough to go in a cave. Like, I just can't do it. The group comes across a fresh deer carcass and Holly takes a picture of it. So that just lets the girls know that whatever killed it has to be close because it literally looks like it was just killed. They finally reach the mouth of the cave and it is more intimidating than they thought it was going to be.
I'm an English teacher, not fucking Tomb Raider.
And Juno gives everybody the safety first talk and singles out Holly as like a wild card, basically telling her, don't try any stunts. All right. We just exploring the cave. Don't do anything crazy. They're all split up into pairs to look after each other. The first pair is Juno and Holly. The second pair are the sisters, which is Sam and Becca. And then the last pair is Beth and Sarah because they're besties. They all rappel down into the cave and Holly is already starting with the bullshit. She flies down the fucking rope and Juno kind of shuts her down. Sarah finds a bloody handprint and then is scared by a giant swarm of bats. I would be finding my way back up immediately. I'm gonna keep reiterating. I would have gotten the fuck out of there. Right after that, they find their passage that will take them further down into the cave. It is a super dark and tight tunnel. Okay, pause. But it is. Juno takes the lead on this and they keep going down until they reach a ledge and Juno lights some flares and throws them out to basically light their area and see what they're working with. And the girls are very excited about what they see. They split up to find their next passage and Sarah hallucinates hearing her daughter laugh as she did in that dream from the night before. She follows where the laughter is coming from and doesn't find anything, just some water droplets. So she just kind of takes the laughing as she misheard the water falling. And Juno jump scares her and tells her that it's snack time. As they have their lunch break, Juno apologizes for not sticking around longer after the accident. And Sarah doesn't really want to talk about that. So she goes to look around for another passage and finds an even smaller passageway that's basically a foxhole that they all have to army crawl through. Becca tells Juno that this isn't how she imagined the cave system would be because it seems like she's the only one who read the book. So she's like, this is not what it looked like in the book. And Juno says that's why you shouldn't trust books because it leaves too much up for interpretation. Child. Anyway, they crawl through this hole. And I was getting anxiety watching this because it is small. Like they are literally squeezing through this tiny tunnel. And all of the girls make it through fine, with Sarah being the last one. She goes right after Beth, and she has the bag with extra rope in it. Before Sarah even crawls through, she starts hearing her daughter laugh again. And man, she starts making her way through and gets stuck because she has the fucking giant bag of extra rope. She starts panicking, and Beth yells to the girls that she thinks that Sarah is stuck. Girl, that is not what she needs to hear right now. Like, even if that is the case, I was just thinking in my head, like, Beth, you can let them know what's going on, but maybe don't say the word stuck because she's already panicking. So if she hears the word stuck, she's gonna panic even more. And that's exactly what happens. Sarah basically starts having a panic attack, saying that she can't breathe, and Beth comes back like a real one. She is a good friend. She comes back and helps to calm Sarah down. She tells Sarah that the worst thing that could have happened to her has already happened, and she's still here, so there's nothing to be afraid of, which is extremely sad, but that's real. Losing the two most important people in your life at the same time has to be one of the hardest things I'm sure a person can ever deal with. Then to kind of cut the tension, make her feel better, she tells Sarah a joke that goes, how do you give a lemon an orgasm? You tickle its citrus. Exactly. No, I did laugh. Because I'm corny and I love a good corny joke. I absolutely laugh. Right after this nice little moment, they hear rumbling in the distance, and of course, it's the fucking cave collapsing. So Beth yells at Sarah like, you need to get moving right now, and they both crawl out as quickly as possible. The rest of the girls get blasted with dust, and as the dust settles, they try to figure out how they're going to get out of the cave because their only path in just collapsed. Becca, being the only person who read the cave guide, knows that there are 3 ways in and out of the cavern, and she turns to Juno for confirmation. Juno doesn't answer, so she tells her to check the book, but Juno doesn't have the fucking book. Everybody is starting to get suspicious of Juno, so they ask Juno, like, did you at least file the flight plan? So if they don't get in contact, they'll just send search and rescue after them. Becca says she's the one who filed the flight plan, but she put it in for Borum Caverns, which doesn't even matter because according to Juno, they're not in fucking Borum Caverns. Juno claims that she wanted them to be the one to discover this cave system, so she didn't file a flight plan because she didn't want anybody to try to steal their shine. Basically, they are in the wrong cave. Oh my God. It would have taken all of them to get me off of Juno because I would have whooped her ass. Beth rightfully shames Juno, calling her a selfish cow because this was supposed to be a trip that was supposed to be good for Sarah, not something to stress her out. She's already grieving and having a rough go of things. And Juno has the nerve to say that they all lost something in that crash. Hello? Somebody smack this bitch. Somebody smack Juno in the fucking face. Miss Homewrecker really thinks that she has the right to grieve her best friend's husband. Sister, this bitch is wicked. After they have this little argument, Juno finds another passageway and they climb through. They find this ledge and Beth drops a rock down, and it is a long way to go. So they have to find a way across. Becca volunteers to rig a line across, and she asks them where the extra rope is, but they couldn't bring the extra rope back. They had to leave it once the cave started collapsing. So Becca has to make a passageway with the limited tools that they have. She makes her way across because she's the only one who's probably the most competent besides Juno, even though when she's making her way across, she sees that there's some old climbing gear there, and she clips one of the ropes to it. The rest of the girls get across pretty easy, but before Sarah goes, she asks Juno if this was really for her, like she said, or did Juno do this for herself? Juno says she did it for the both of them so they could spend time together and be the way that they used to be. She was also thinking about naming the cave after Sarah, and Sarah says, actually, I feel like you were gonna name it after you, sister, because this is obviously not about Sarah. This is about Juno's guilt. Really. Sarah makes it across, and now Juno is tasked with retrieving the rest of their gear because that's literally all they have. She kisses her necklace for good luck and starts unhooking all of the clips. I don't know what they're called. Sorry. But she starts unhooking the clips and retrieving the gear, and she struggles to get across because I'm not familiar with the mechanics of all of this, but from what I could tell, it looks like it takes a lot of upper body and core strength that I do not have. I just started going back to the gym. With that being said, Juno loses her grip and falls. Rebecca was holding the rope that Juno was attached to, so when she falls, the friction from the rope slipping cuts her hand really bad. I wince every time this happens because rope burn is something else. It's really serious. That shit hurts. All of the girls take over to pull Juno up after the hook from the old climbing gear broke, and Sam, who is our doctor of the group, tends to Becca's hand. Juno shows the girls the old climbing gear, which confirms that they are not the first people to explore this cave, as Juno thought. And this also lets them know that whoever was here before probably didn't make it out. She says the gear looks about 100 years old, so keep that in mind for later. Holly finds the next passageway and crawls through, and they see some cave drawings, some hieroglyphics on the cave walls, and Beth deciphers or speculates that the cave drawing depicts the mountain and what appears to be two entrances. So the girls now have hope that they will find another way out of the cave that wasn't the way that they just blocked. Juno uses her lighter to catch a draft, get a little breeze, so they can know which way to go next. She finds one, and Holly, overzealous as usual, rushes through ahead of everyone without any caution, and she thinks that she sees daylight and head towards it, and Juno is warning her that is not daylight. And she falls into a pit and breaks her fucking leg, like snaps her leg in half. The bone is sticking out. It's bad. It's really bad. Holly's a fucking idiot too. The girls rush to help her, and we learn a little later from Juno that what Holly thought was daylight was actually white phosphorus. So Sam has to come to the rescue again, our soon-to-be doctor, and she has her work cut out for her on this expedition, honestly. And she tells them that she needs to make a splint for Holly's leg, and she informs Holly that she has to put the bone back so they could properly adjust her leg. And it is so fucking gross. Okay. She tells the girls to hold Holly down to keep her from moving and puts Holly's leg back in place. And they show this, and it looks very disgusting. Meanwhile, Sarah is hearing her daughter fucking giggling again, and she goes and follows. I'm sorry. It's not funny, but they're kind of fucked. Oh shit. She follows the laughter once again and comes across an old helmet, and Sarah doesn't see this, but something runs past the camera, and Sarah starts to hear faint growling in the distance. She follows the sound of the growling and sees a human-like creature kneeling down like it's eating something. The creature runs away right as Sarah gets jump scared again by Juno. Girl, please announce yourself. Sarah tries to tell Juno that she saw something, but Juno doesn't believe her for whatever reason. They go back to the other girls, and Sarah is adamant that she saw something, and she tries to explain to the girls what she saw, but none of them are buying it. So the girls begin to push forward to what they think may be the other entrance of the cave, and they hit a wall that they have to climb up. The girls climb up into this graveyard, basically. Sarah takes Holly's camera and turns on the night vision so she can see what they're, actually looking at. There is just an endless pit of dead animals and bones. So now there is no doubt in their mind that there is something else down there with them. Juno uses her lighter again to try to catch a draft, and the group starts to panic, basically. They start calling out, trying to see if there was anyone down there to help them. They're like thinking maybe the thing that Sarah saw was just another person, and that person can help them find a way out. All of this is done in night vision, and it's from Sarah's perspective, so she's like whipping the camera around, like looking at everybody. She swings the camera around and looks back at Beth, and a creature is literally standing right behind Beth. Y'all, when I tell you, this part spooked the fuck out of me as a kid. I remember jumping so hard when I saw this. This was one of the first and only films where you don't really even see the monsters until like an hour into the film. So it's so good. Like it really got me. After the monster pops up, it scurries away, and the girls freak out trying to figure out where it went because they can't see. Juno thinks they should just pick a tunnel and hope for the best. Then they hear more of the creatures screeching and circling them, and they just take off running right into one of the creatures, and it attacks Holly.
Thank God.
Honestly, she was dead weight anyway. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. The girls run away, splitting up in the process, while Juno fights with one of the creatures over Holly's body. Sarah falls down a cliff, getting knocked out, and her light on her helmet breaks, and she gets separated from Beth. Juno kills one of the creatures with her pickaxe and gets attacked by another one, but she locks in and kills that one too. Now, as much as we hate Juno because she sucks as a fucking friend, she's a terrible friend, you can't say she's not a bad bitch though. Like, she really was doing her shit. She got 2 kills already. Sadly, that savagery that she has been exhibiting to kill these creatures takes a wicked turn because the adrenaline from killing those monsters has her on edge so bad that as soon as she hears something, she just turns around and swings her axe. But behind her, It was Beth, and she axes Beth right in her neck. The realest bitch in this movie is down and out, all because of Juno's bitch ass. As Beth falls down, she grabs Juno's necklace and begs Juno not to leave her. Juno does, in fact, leave her. Because one, she's in shock, and two, because I'm sure she thinks that the creatures will just come and eat her anyway. Sam and Beth are still on the run looking for the others, and Sarah finally wakes up. The camera is still working though, and now she's looking around and she finds that she was near a pile of human remains in the cave. Those look like human bones. She hides when she sees a group of them chowing on Holly's body, so Holly is absolutely out of here. Back with Sam and Becca, they lie down in a passageway hiding from the creatures, and the sisters and Sarah find out that the creatures are blind in their own ways. The way that Sarah finds out is that she gagged while she saw them eating Holly, and one of them hears her, but it doesn't attack her even though it's standing right in her face. And the sisters find out that they're blind because one of them crawls right past them without even detecting them. That sense of security doesn't last long because that dumbass watch that Sam got from her boyfriend goes off, and the monster hears it and comes back trying to attack them. But Sam takes the watch off and throws it, and the monster gets distracted by that. And then they're also saved by Juno calling out to them after she hears the watch go off in the cave. Juno at this point is the only one that doesn't know that the creatures are blind, so none of them are answering Juno, and they are fine with Juno being in danger as long as it keeps them safe. And I know that's right, because fuck Juno, honestly. Sarah grabs the pickaxe that they use as a splint for Holly's leg and takes it as a weapon as she apologizes for basically looting Holly's body. She just takes a bunch of resources off of her, and I mean, she's not going to use them, so sorry. They're all creating sources of light now, knowing that the creatures can't see them, and begin making their way through the caves again. Sam and Becca are using glow sticks. Sarah made a torch, and Juno's flashlight is surprisingly still working. Becca and Sam wind up getting attacked by one of the creatures, and Juno comes to the rescue, killing the creatures and adding more to her kill count. She's going off. That's like 4 at this point. Becca asks Juno about the other girls, and she informs them that the creatures took Holly, but she doesn't explicitly say what happened to Beth. She just says that Beth is dead, implying that the creatures killed her. Juno asks Sam to basically examine one of the creatures and tell her what they are. Sarah says that these creatures have evolved to be able to live down there completely in the dark, which is why they are blind. They use echolocation like bats to hunt. Juno says that whatever they are, she feels that they go up to the surface to bring food down, confirming that there has to be another entrance. She also mentions that she found markings on the cave, believed to be left there by the other explorers whose climbing gear that they found. Sam and Becca want to leave right away, but Juno says that she's not leaving without Sarah. Sarah is still looking for a way out, and Beth, who is surprisingly not dead, reaches out to her from under some carcasses, calling out to Sarah. Sarah goes over and tries to take Beth with her, but Beth can't go anywhere. She literally just can't. She uses her last breaths to warn Sarah to stay away from Juno, because Juno is the one who did this to her. And she tells Sarah not to trust her and gives Sarah Juno's necklace. On the back of Juno's necklace, it says, "Love each day," confirming the affair between Paul and Juno. It was all alleged up until this point, but now we have the evidence. This is what I mean by Beth was the realest person in the movie, because she used her last couple of minutes of her life to tell her best friend that it's a motherfucking snake in her garden. After this, she begs Sarah to kill her, and Sarah obliges. Rest in peace to the realest nigga in the movie, Beth. Shout out to her. She was a real one all the way up until the end. Sarah immediately gets attacked by one of the creatures and locks the fuck in and kills it. Period. A female creature chases Sarah, and she falls into a pit of blood. Okay. And this scene is gross, but it looks fantastic. It's raw as hell to me. She gets attacked again and kills the creature that was just chasing her, stabbing it with a bone right in its eye. Then she hears another one and plays dead, and that motherfucker uses her head basically as a stepping stone. Once it passes by, she kills that one too and screams like a Super Saiyan because she has finally snapped. Real, I would have been screaming at the top of my lungs too. Pissed. The rest of the girls hear her, and Juno goes to look for her and runs into a group of those creatures, and all of the girls run away. They come across another cliff. Sam does first anyway. Sam decides that she's going to make her way across as they did before, and this was a dumbass idea. This was not thought through at all. Becca and Juno beg Sam to come back, and they are like screaming, which I get because this is a very stressful situation, but that is going to draw the creatures to your location, and that's exactly what the fuck happens. One of the creatures crawls on the ceiling and attacks Sam, killing her by ripping her throat out. but she does stab it before she dies and basically takes it with her. So she, she died fighting. Okay. One of them then sneaks up behind Juno and Becca and kills Becca, and Juno jumps off the cliff. Luckily, there is water down there, so she's fine. She does get attacked by one of the creatures in the water that actually didn't die when Sam killed it, but this is Juno we're talking about. She kills that fucking thing, no problem, and swims back up to the wall, climbs back up into the cave, and almost falls before Sarah comes and snatches her up to safety. Sarah is looking like a mad woman. She's covered in blood. She looks crazy. And Juno asks what happened to her. Sarah doesn't even answer that. She just asks about the other girls. When she asks about Beth, Juno just says that Beth didn't make it. And Sarah asks her if she saw Beth die, and Juno lies and says that she did. They light flares and make their ways through the cave. They see that they are surrounded by the creatures, and they, lock the fuck in and stand off with those things, ready to fight. And they actually fight all of them off. They are biting, they are gouging eyes, they are smashing heads, really giving it to them. And when they finish fighting, Sarah grabs a pickaxe off of the ground and faces off with her biggest fucking op, Juno. At this point in Sarah's mind, the creatures aren't even her biggest op. It's this bitch Juno. And I know that's right. She shows Juno the necklace. Okay. Juno is gagged. Okay. And then Sarah stabs Juno in her knee with the pickaxe and then leaves her bitch ass to get attacked by the fucking creatures. And I know that's right.
It's what she deserves.
Oh my.
You should be doing that. That's what we should all be doing. When our friends do fucked up shit, we beat the fuck out of them. I don't know. I don't know. Now, I will say again, Juno might be a terrible friend, but she's not the type to go down without a fight. So she takes that fucking pickaxe out of her knee and she prepares to go toe to toe with them. She finna put the paws on them. But honestly, it's not looking too good for her. Sarah runs off and leaves her there, period. And she hears Juno scream, and when she hears Juno scream, Sarah falls down a tunnel. But at the end of that tunnel, she sees daylight and crawls her way to the surface in this really beautiful shot here. It is so nice. She makes her way to the surface and she still has Juno's necklace attached to her hand, which is something that I did not notice until rewatching this for the 50th time. Sarah, being the last one alive, the only one to escape, runs back to their trucks and drives off. As she's driving, she decides to pull over and she breaks down and cries, clearly overwhelmed by that life-threatening ordeal. Hello. And she throws up. Real. When she sits back up, she has a hallucination of Juno sitting in the passenger seat, and the movie ends.
I lied.
Well, technically, I didn't lie. That truly is the ending for the United States theatrical cut. However, in the UK version of the film, we get a more bleak ending. Okay, so I'm going to explain that one. In the UK ending, after she sees the vision of Juno, Sarah wakes back up in the cave and hallucinates seeing her daughter with a birthday cake. The camera zooms out to show that the light from the candles is just the light from her torch, and it zooms out even more to show that she is surrounded by the creatures that will inevitably kill her. And then the movie ends.
Love each day.
Before I get into my final thoughts, and before someone says this in the comments, I know that the USA version is canon because there is a sequel to this movie that nobody really talks about, but it exists. So I just wanted to jump in and say that. Anyway, The Descent will always have a special place in my heart. The all-female cast, the practical effects, and the mess. I live for this movie. It's scary, and you don't even see the monsters until literally an hour in to this movie. They really nailed the suspense of being in an unfamiliar, claustrophobic environment. That affected me personally because I am claustrophobic. If you couldn't tell, I barely liked tube slides as a kid. So when Sarah got stuck, I truly squirm watching her panic. Side note, the BTS of the actors who played the creatures is so fucking funny. They're like goofing around with all of the scary makeup on. It's hilarious. So if you haven't seen the BTS of this movie, you should go watch it. It's pretty good. I want to say that this group of protagonists is probably the most competent that I've seen in a lot of horror films. They obviously have their flaws and they made mistakes, but that has to keep the movie going. They can't be perfect throughout the whole thing. But for the most part, they made pretty sound decisions throughout this film. With that being said, though, we can all agree that this was absolutely Juno's fault. I feel like that's stating the obvious, but I guaranteed that I will get a comment of somebody saying the opposite. I've expressed how I felt about Juno. She's bad as fuck, but she is a terrible friend. Her guilt and her ego got all of her friends killed. And this literally all could have been avoided if she had the balls to come clean to Sarah about the affair with Paul. Like, this all could have been just erased away. It wouldn't have happened if she literally just would have went to her friend and said, hey, I did a fucked up thing. Please forgive me. And whatever the fallout of that just would have been that. I know that Sarah was grieving, but if you claim to be someone's best friend, this shouldn't even be something that you would do anyway, but the least you owe them is the truth. You know what I mean? Like, at least be honest. Especially now when all Sarah has are her friends. That's where my respect for Beth goes to an all-time high, because Beth stayed down. It isn't confirmed until she's dying if she knew about the affair beforehand, but you can tell that Beth has always been side-eyeing Juno. She's never really been a huge fan of Juno. They're all friends, but Sarah is like her best friend, okay? She never took her foot off of Juno's neck, and in her dying breath, she let her best friend know what's up. I really commend her for that. Beth always had Sarah's best interest at heart and continuously checked on her, checked in with her. So dying at the hands of Juno was definitely a gut punch, because Juno ain't shit. Now, Holly, you can tell that Juno was Holly's mentor because she's selfish and reckless, just like Juno. They both disguise it as like the love of the thrill, but it's not. I also thought that she and Sam were kind of flirty, maybe because I'm gay and I always want women to be flirting with each other. So it was probably nothing, but I did think that her and Sam were kind of like being cheeky. You know, Becca is also real as fuck. Loved her. She was the most prepared and most resourceful. And when Juno was falling behind, she was the one who was taking the lead. Juno did her shit. Don't get me wrong. Like, Juno, you know, had a lot of great ideas. She was the one who was finding the new passages with the lighter and everything. But Becca was on it until she wasn't, which sucked. I wanted her to make it out. Sam would have been a great doctor. Rest in peace. Now, Sarah, poor Sarah. She really couldn't catch a break. She lost her family. She's having night terrors and hallucinations. She gets trapped in a fucking cave with cave dwellers, and all of her real best friends are dead. And on top of that, the icing on the cake, if you will, she finds out that her dead nigga was cheating on her with her best friend. And that's why he was being distant during the conversation that led to him getting into a car accident and killing him and their daughter. Name the messiest person you know, and I bet it's a man. That's a mess. Anyways, I'm happy that Sarah got some type of revenge on Juno's ass. She really deserved a little bit of solace in her life. Now she's even more traumatized though, but I hope that Sarah got the proper help that she needs after that shit. Thank you for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks again to the amazing subscriber who guessed that I would be doing this movie. That actually kind of did something to my brain. I don't know what, but it did. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and watch the rest of my videos, because I will be back with another favorite of mine. If you are one of my friends and family members watching, I love you, and I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.